Doop 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 doop. Welcome to the Smeggie Cave. So, how's it going, everyone? No, I don't think anyone's watching yet, but Moon and G-Webs are in here, so
Thank you.
yep. Links are available. Just message me on gun channels and I'll send you one.
I might be able to do something with this.
Just let me know when we go live.
I got a dog and a Glock 43. You'll see that next. I'll make sure that's next week.
Trying to win the Daily Gun Show. And G-Webs, I don't know if you're joking, but we are live now. Thus the singing.
Yeah, we live.
So everybody sees how Moon is listening us off screen. Try to win the show now.
Well, I mean, I left it for when he actually bribed us. That was still off air. So when he offered us hundreds of dollars,
Okay.
or
That never
literally
happened.
dozens of dollars
Over the course of a year.
No comment.
Payments that will equal over dozens of dollars over the course of the year. He described a complicated schedule of payments that would account for almost dozens of dollars by the time the year is over.
No.
It will be about a dozen.
That's okay. My dozens of listeners won't hold it against you.
Well, we also should let him know that did win. So that's definitely enough money. That's more money than we've been offered. So he's winning.
Are you making a soap patch?
Making a new patch, yes. I'm not going to call it that necessarily.
I thought of one, but I don't know what to make it into. But it's up on the side.
Oh. For...
I have no idea.
Like when you're driving, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it'll sell very well. I've always been a fan of the Cabbage Patch.
There is a Cabbage Patch. Somebody made one, but anybody could make one. They don't make it anymore.
Yeah, the original Cabbage Patch.
We could make Cabbage Patch patches in the respects that there's individual, unique ones, and they have to be adopted. And then you get a little card.
Yeah.
Useless information about your toy. I wonder how I unlock all those other cool fonts before.
Is it a paid thing?
No, I paid good money for the software, yeah. So it's frustrating to see a bunch of shit that I have to pay additionally for. You should be able to do achievements. I should be able to make enough patches that it goes ding ding ding. You get 4 more patches. Like font.
Yeah, unlock.
Or you've used crazy Hebrew font or whatever. So now you unlock freaking some other language or something. You've used Arabic. Now you can unlock Gothic or something.
Yeah, you should build up experience points or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Have missions.
Build a patch that will save the day or whatever.
You must make 1 Barbie patch and 1 G.I. Joe patch.
Build a patch that will save the Second Amendment for all time.
That'd be a good challenge. Maybe you could backward engineer it. Patch that would save the Second Amendment would have these characteristics, and then just go backwards from there, right?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the characteristics would be that everybody would want it. So it's it's everywhere and everyone sees it. The peace symbol. Everyone knows what that means. So some type of thing that's oh, yeah, that's the Second Amendment thing.
And it shouldn't be a little oval like some kind of European country code thing. Like a 2A, because then that's too much like Europe. Make that blue.
So, I don't know. I'm not a patch designer. That's about as best I got. Hey, Vanessa, how's it going?
Oh, you're pulling a...
It's not the middle of the night. What are you doing watching us?
I'm going to be thinking how to make the greatest patch of all time all night. That's kind of hard. That's setting the bar pretty high.
Well, it doesn't have to be the best patch of all time. It just has to say the Second Amendment. That would qualify it as the best patch of all time, probably. But
yeah, this is a lot of pressure. I can barely make a design when I'm not under pressure.
And then, of course, the Second Amendment is disappearing every moment that you haven't made the patch yet. So just to...
Like
well, that part is
of the
definitely
patch are
true.
being pulled away before it's even made.
I mean, this patch needs to be like, if you like wear it,
PVC, so they can't pull it away and infringe it.
You're getting there.
Why I oughta.
Hey, brainstorming phase. There's no bad ideas yet.
But
You just gotta get a PVC machine eventually.
But bring a nice strike stuff in here. That's beyond the pale.
Moon's allowed to have a dad joke. That was a bad enough joke. My favorite dad joke is still like, if you got to have the right setup or whatever, but if you're driving around and you see a bunch of cows, you're like, hey, you guys see that herd of cows? And they were like, oh, I fucked it up. Never mind.
Someone told me a Polish joke today, but since I don't like denigrating Polish people, I'll switch it to Canadians. And they asked me, where do Canadians keep their armies?
In their sleeveys?
How is that even a Polish joke?
I don't even know. It was so stupid.
That'll get them.
It made me laugh.
Yeah. Let's see him screw a light bulb in now. Ha ha ha.
Exactly. Polish. They used to be brutal back when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
How many Polacks it take? Stuff like that you'd hear a lot.
Yeah, like screen doors on a submarine and ejector seats in helicopters and whatnot.
Near the ejector seats in the helicopter one.
Yeah, I haven't heard the helicopter one either. What do people do in helicopters if it's starting to crash? They jump out the side, I guess?
No, they get ejected. I think the rotors fall off. Or
Yeah, they like fly off. The rotary flanges.
Ah, I see what you're doing there.
Oh, Red Dawn.
I'm
It's
sure
like
it'll-
Pictionary. And I win.
I'm sure it'll get arrested by Dawn detergent or something. Or even
Yeah, like, you got them both coming at you now. Movie studios and the big soap.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have enough stress. Fucking piss off a giant pharmaceutical company, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, they're made by like the biggest company like ever.
Cease and desist.
Punching up. It's called punching up. I learned it from Yankee.
I would punch up, but I mean, I'm already awesome, so there's no one else to punch.
That terminology would be okay if, like, Michelle Obama didn't use it during the campaign for Hillary.
What was she punching up?
They were like, when they go low, we go high. And then the next time her thing was about punching up.
Huh. Never heard of that before. I don't think it
Well,
exists.
You should go listen to Michelle Obama's speeches.
I don't want to.
Like, I think I've recorded all of them.
Did I miss that? Did I miss that podcast? I'm subscribed to her on YouTube.
She's supposed to get a Netflix show with the rest of the Obamas. It's going to be like Obama reality.
It's gonna be like the Osbournes, except the Obamas.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Fucking daughter's always getting caught smoking weed and partying.
Well, it'd be better than the
Obama gets caught praying like 5 times a day.
the what's her face one when she was running around Alaska, like, oh, I'm just a regular person. Look at me, hunting moose or something.
Talking about Palin?
Sarah.
Yeah.
Nailing Palin.
I don't think that's what the reality show was called.
Oh, that was a different one, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat food.
Food's no good for you.
Well, I was considering like going out and getting food later, but I think I'll just eat food now.
You ever tried these pods?
I've been considering them.
Dawn pods. With this holster, I can barely get the gun out. Oh, here it comes.
You gotta break it in or something. New holster.
Nah, just loosen the retention screw. When I first got it, I guess it was tightened all the way. I put the gun in there, and I was like, can't get it out. Couldn't even get it out of my pants. Like, I was pulling my pants up like Urkel. I'm gonna die.
Really, you eating like the last little bit of dog food in the apocalypse future or some shit?
Yep.
Not like fucking Road Warrior or the fucking night dog food reaction.
Gotta get
That's
the
what I'm doing.
corners.
I'm getting every last drop out of this can.
Not like Dano trying to get every last bit of cereal out of a bowl. During
He knows he can fill that spoon up one more time with melted ice cream.
He knows that if you scoop the milk out of the way fast enough and then get the spoon way down into the corner, all that milk will fall down onto that spoon. And
He also does where he puts the spoon at the other side of the bowl and then rotates the bowl around so it all settles down on the spoon.
Like a complicated ball and like movement maze that you have.
Yep.
Oh, if I move it this way laterally, look at all the milk on here.
Come in.
This thing says apple or matured harvest. Who the hell wants to wash their dishes in apples? Sounds sticky.
I'm guessing it smells like apples, but tastes not so much.
It says apple orchard. I don't know why it wouldn't taste like apples. That would be deceptive.
Also because of the smell. Like, I smell apples.
Like, I believe there should be laws. We should stand up and walk out of work tomorrow because this apple fucking flavored soap don't even taste like apples.
Tastes like shit.
Tastes like soap.
See, my Dawn is original scent. I don't know what Dawn originally smelled like.
Blue originally, so Smurf.
Yeah, it is blue, but I mean, that's... They don't specify. They just say original.
Smurf poop.
Yeah. They don't like to advertise it, but...
Because they have to crush up the Smurfs. They don't just harvest the poop. They have to crush up Smurfs.
They're like, oh, you're going to hold it in, huh, Smurf? Well, we got a machine for you.
We got our friend Gargamel's going to take care of this. Get him, Asbel.
That's what I didn't. I couldn't remember his name. I was gonna make that joke of like, you know, number one approved by Gargamel or whatever, or recommended.
This is my favorite soap because they smush up little Smurfs and put it in here.
I like it.
Sounds bad, but it gets things really clean.
Smells like Papa.
4 out of 5 dentists agree the 5th one's an asshole.
This one doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, how do all the different types of toothpaste get 4 out of 5 dentists? Like, how can 4 out of 5 of every dentist recommend every different type of toothpaste? Doesn't make any sense. It's not statistically possible. Ah, Rusty's out there. What's up, man?
They're like, out of all these pastes, which one do you recommend for teeth? There's like glue, Colgate, and then like some other kind of like meat paste.
Yeah.
Like, well, of course, the Colgate.
I'll go with the toothpaste. Okay.
Just gotta wonder what that one crazy dentist
He's sitting there rubbing horse paste on his teeth.
Poster paste, like with the mop up like wallpaper with back in the day. It's green. What color to put down here?
So did you see the thing at the student walkout thing? I guess some kid walked out like with all the other students and he had a sign that says like guns don't kill people, people do. And he was like asked to leave and the principal like yelled at him or something. It was just like a super short clip on Instagram.
Yeah, you can't tell shit from that clip, but I did see it.
I mean, you can see the guy's sign and you see the adult like, what did he say? He said something like 502, 502 or something, and then like points, and then the kid walks away.
I heard herpit trope. Yeah, and then the kid walks off, and the guy like points towards where he's walking. Like, I'm gonna point over towards where you're walking.
Yeah, like I said, I did hear like some number, so I don't know if he was getting sent to like room 502 or whatever.
Herpit trope. I don't know if that label is too distracting. I should make this a different color. Make this blue. Now it looks like a little scene in a cloud. I like it blue better.
Oh yeah, dude, you should be a graphic designer for dish soap.
If dish soaps needed embroidery work, I would fucking be in the running.
Show the whole neighborhood what type of dish soap you use. Get a custom patch. The best part of SpaghettiOs is it's so easy to make. You just heat them up and you're done.
Oh, is that what you're making?
Yeah. But I had to get every last SpaghettiO out of the can.
Oh no, it's black. It just looked shiny in the plastic. I don't know.
All right, now I can be Dano.
Well, that's Dano, all right.
Yep. Yep, I turned the stove off. I had to double check. I turned the stove off. I left it on one time. Like I like went out and was gone like all day. And I came back and was like, "Hey, how come the little red light's on?" Oh crap! I mean, I think it shuts off after like all day or whatever, anyways. But
You hope so. Is anybody watching this? No, there's people out there. Poor people.
Just trying to get this mag release in. This guy told me how to switch the sides. Don't want to know that.
Is there Entenmann's everywhere in the whole country? Entenmann?
Yeah, I think so. I used to think it was just local here, but
I felt like a country sausage commercial was about to start up. You're going to tell us about country sausages made the right way, like Grandma used to make.
it's a Such video.
Huh. Videos like Such used to make.
you remember when? Entenmann's remembers. What company was that did that? Is that some like cracker thing or cookie thing?
Rich Farm remembers.
Yeah, Petrich Farm. Yep.
Remember when Dawn soap tasted like apples?
The Wolverines remember.
Let's not bring that into that. Let's not involve real partisans with what the fuck happens nowadays. Real partisanship. All right, well, I guess this ain't working as much as I thought it would.
Now, how would that look with like instead of just doing like the whole thing red, could you like print that up on like red fabric and then just like then you could just leave all those stitches out of it?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. I just don't own red fabric because fucking blood.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just curious if it like looks weird when the most of it is like blank, I would call it, and then just like some embroidering.
No, I mean that's definitely a thing. And then if you had a real machine, you could just buy stuff that was basically embroidered red pattern, right? And then you would just sew the blue on it and the green on it and whatnot. But I'm doing two things. I'm putting my green and my blue down behind it and using the red as the window frame for it. So it's creating the edge of the blue and green.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be on top. So I'd have to do some sort of red trim at least. But then I also put these like elegant lines that the bottle had. The bottle go.
Right, you're kind of giving it some depth.
Yeah, like it has these lines so you don't slip out of your hands when you're all soaped up. So I added that to those, those little things. So anyway, that wouldn't happen if I just used a black background or a red background. But yeah, that's definitely a way to go.
It's pretty cool. So, Moon, have you decided? Are you going to use your stainless mag catch or mag release?
Sounds like he's already got it in there.
Oh, does he?
Pretty sure. He said something about watching a video. Dan will explain how to install it.
Oh. Well, I get confused easily. Man, I want to get all of these SpaghettiOs, but I'm being very self-conscious about not sounding like Dano.
Do you like SpaghettiOs over the ravioli?
Yeah, I think I like SpaghettiOs better.
What do they make?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked ravioli, but
I never really liked the. I mean, I like the concept of ravioli, but I've ate real ravioli, so I never really liked the canned stuff. It was always.
yeah, the canned stuff, it's like it doesn't. I don't know, like cooked all the way through or whatever. Like it doesn't seem to.
It doesn't need to be cooked. It's because it's not really a noodle or whatever.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying it.
But I mean, it tastes like that. It tastes like, oh, this is similar. This is like what it's supposed to be flavored like.
Mm-hmm.
But it was too mushy and different.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the SpaghettiOs better.
But no, those are just as bad with the not being any kind of real pasta or anything. Where I can handle them kind of pastas is in the soups, right? Because then you don't expect them to be any good. There's just soup.
This is just I've been eating SpaghettiOs since I was a kid, and it's just like I don't think of myself as eating pasta right now. Like I'm eating SpaghettiOs right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting it to be, spaghetti or masticholi or ravioli or like I'm not expecting that texture or even that flavor.
SpaghettiO.
I'm just expecting SpaghettiOs.
This tastes just like the SpaghettiOs my grandma used to make out of again.
So slave over the stove for all of 5 minutes. Making
Grandma would
SpaghettiOs.
for almost 14 minutes every evening making this. Kind of food out of again. Oh, I just got raped.
What was that thing we said the other day? It was like the pro Pro 2A something. Progino or something. What the heck was that?
Oh, pro gun in name only. Progino.
Yes. Progino.
Fucking Progino. That's how I say it.
Trump's a Progino.
Fuck you, fucking Progino.
Wow. That is the most gentle I ever ate SpaghettiOs. And now I'll be Dano again.
You're doing it like a drummer, though. Dano does it like a wino, kind of dizzy.
Hand shaking from, I need more.
Kind of dizzy from the first dose, but feeding for that one. So he's kind of stumbling down the hallway or the alley. That's how he spoons the bowl. Like he's happy and he's numb, but he's still wandering towards that next hit. He knows it's coming. That next bowl is just down in the kitchen there. It's just over in the kitchen. I can get there. I don't need no help. Like, let go of me. I can get there.
Come on, man. You've had enough for the day. Just one more scoop. Just a one scooper, I swear.
Nah, raisin brands. Bought these raisin brands.
They got 2 scoops of raisins, man. Damn it, where'd that thing go? I saw an interesting thing on Instagram.
I guess that's possible.
So it's like a meme or whatever, and the person's like, "How libertarian are you?" And then it's like, "Me." It goes, "There are over 550 million firearms in the world circulation. That's one firearm for every 12 people on the planet. The only question is, how do we arm the other 11?" I thought that was interesting. I didn't know there's one gun for every 12 people.
That's from a movie.
Lord of War. It's at the beginning when he's sitting in front of all the brass on the floor talking about insurgencies and stuff.
Oh.
Merchant of Death. I'm just trying to arm the other 11. Under the influence of the assault weapons. You don't need those. You don't need them. You don't need. Hashtag you don't need.
I need whatever I think I need. And that's just how I roll.
What if we do hashtag justify your assault weapon, and then everybody can just make little interesting memes of why their assault weapon is interesting or of intrinsic value or of historic significance or of investment quality, etc.
Well, I don't think I should have to justify it.
Oh no, not as a requirement, but as an opportunity for people to keep that freaking concept going. Because I'm sick of the like, you don't need mentality. You know, that's like with the epitome of throwing stones or whatever. Like, oh, I don't need. Let's talk about what you actually need in your life, little whoever it is throwing that at us, you know? Like, let's talk about what you need for real. In this country, none of us have an ability to say what the fuck that somebody needs. We have an awful lot of discretionary life habits.
Yeah, and that's what makes America great.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's every once in a while you got to appreciate what makes you so awesome, or why you're so awesome, or how come you're so awesome. What's up with this picture on your cave thing? How's that even happening? Is that Moon's gun? See this?
No, that's mine.
So you bought a gun with a stainless heavy barrel and a carbine system? Is carbine?
It's mid-length.
This okay.
It doesn't look like that anymore. That was that's like the night I built it.
Okay. So you got rid of this pistol grip?
Yep.
You got rid of that stock? That's a Magpul stock.
I still have the stock.
What pistol grip you put on it?
It's Magpul, I think.
And then you left this barrel on it?
I still have the barrel, yeah.
What is this like? This is the same as barrel as in the Army, and I got it from Palmetto State. One of them kind of things. This is made by FN.
It is from PSA. I just wanted a stainless barrel.
Oh, really? Why'd you want stainless? Long range shooting?
I just thought it looked cool. Figured it'd just be nice. I don't have to justify everything to you, G-Webs.
Justify your assault weapon. Why don't you just justify the assault weapon?
Because it looks cool. Same reason why I swapped out a bunch of stuff for blue parts. Like my mag release and my safety and my trigger guard. They don't do anything. They're just blue. Well, I guess the safety is ambi safety, but I don't use the other side most of the time.
When you go to gun channels and you click on somebody's thing, you can timestamp it. See that? How it hovers. See it hovering the timestamp date, the time and date.
Oh, really?
See that? Look at stupid YouTube. Nothing. Nothing.
Well, that was I tried to do that the other day because you had sent me something. Or like, hey, are you around? And then sent me a link or whatever, and I had no idea what time you had sent it, and I was trying to figure that out. It didn't pop up.
Here's how hover.
Oh, now it's showing up. Okay. Huh.
It might be a new upgrade. I don't know. I don't remember it being there before.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Yeah, so I went to the conversation with you, and like the thing I sent to you earlier today has a time, and then I looked at what you had sent like yesterday or the day before, and it doesn't. Yeah, because I ended up by like, and once I saw it, I ended up like clicking on the link, and it was like, you're not authorized to start this call or something. I was like, oh, you must not be around. So, oh well. What? Why were you giving me shit about my stainless barrel?
That's only stainless barrels.
You don't like them?
No, they look weird. Two-tone.
I think it looks cool. It's all shiny.
You know, you can tell Prescott's fucked up.
How?
Because the cop cars are Chevys. They use Impalas for cop cars. That should be a cop car.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of Impala cop cars. I wish they still just made the Crown Vic and everyone used that. Those were good cop cars.
Actually, this 2006 don't look too bad, but it's not that good either. Oh, fancy. They could have put a cover on their tires. Fancy. They have a way different back seat too. Way more uncomfortable than my back seat. And my back seat is not comfortable. Ugh, I hate the interior of them though. They look like, because your grandpa's like luxury car. They don't look like a cop car at all. They look like that stupid fancy. Fake wood trim. Chrome everywhere. 100,000 miles, 2006. What's wrong with it?
That's not that bad.
Running condition, good. Yeah, 100,000 miles really isn't too bad for a cop car. It was definitely a patrol car, so it's going to turn to the left and shit. And it looks trashed. But it's a black and white, kind of looks nice. How much is it? Not even $1,000.
Wow. A pretty good deal.
I don't know. Every time I heard about people who own cop cars, multiple, or who have owned cop cars, you know, many of them, they don't like Impalas. The Chevy ones aren't as good. They fall apart. I think that's why so many of them are Vics.
That's why they get rid of them at 100,000. They just don't want to start running into all the hassles.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. And I think that's why there's so many Vics, is because departments figured that out or something. But then, like you say, they got rid of Vics, so they have no choice, I guess. But that's like a town like Prescott, a bunch of California people. They're the kind of people that would buy a bunch of Chevrolets.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Ford stopped with the Crown Vic.
They're stupid. No, because cops started using stupid SUVs all the time. It's a gas. It's easy and cheap. Damn, a whole pallet of computer trays and consoles. How much do you think that costs? Whole pallet. So let's see how many that might be. Not that many. 2, 3, 4 things, and like probably 4 guts of a cop car, like the little panel or like a little cabinet, and then like the thing for the laptop to sit on. $2. $2.
$2 for a pallet of trays. Huh.
Damn, an LED light bar. A white LED light bar. Flat one. What's this picture? Oh, yeah. Nice. $5. Where the hell is this? Where the hell is this? Oh, it's over by Jimmy. That would be cool.
$5 for a light bar? That's a good deal.
Like what a tow truck would have, like a really flat LED light bar. So it, you know, it's on the top of a car, like a, actually kind of looks like a clear Pelican case with a bunch of LEDs in it. So you just open the top to work on it or something. Anyway, yeah, kind of neat looking, like a tow truck type of thing, all clear white. You wouldn't be able to drive it. Well, you could have it on your car in Arizona, but you can never turn it on. At least not while you're driving. And here's
Yeah, most places have stuff like that. Any type of lights and stuff you can't have while you're driving.
We can't have a forward-facing light that reaches more than 100 yards or something. Besides headlights, but like regular lights, you can't have them.
Oh, you can't have like spotlights or something?
Well, you just can't have light bars on top that project forward. They don't want you looking like a cop from behind, I think. You know, like so you can pull people over with something that looks like a light bar in your car. I think that's the concept of it. Or
right.
I can't imagine what else it would be, because you can't even have a siren unless it's designed for parades or movies, which is lame. Like you can't even own them the way it's written. And then light bars you can have as long as you never use them. So you can have them on your vehicle as long as you don't turn them on. But they have a couple of them. They have red, white, and blue one for $5, and then another LED red, white, and blue one that's nice for $5.
In Michigan, you can't have blue lights.
Oh no, we can't.
Like that's the thing that shows it's actually a cop. You know,
Yeah.
you can have yellows and reds and whites, but you can't have a blue light.
Yeah, we can have white, yellow, and green, but not red or blue. But then there's other states. I can't tell you how many states. At least 5 states I drove through that their stupid, whatever, road crews are red and white. Like, what the hell? I thought it was a cops or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's what state? There was one of them down south that had that. It was a tow truck, and it was like
Yeah, look,
red and blue. I mean, it was cop lights, and I'm like, wait, blue? I didn't
yeah.
think you're allowed to have blue. Like that's
Or
like
there's a cop
special.
truck, or like here's a cop like asphalt truck. Like what the fuck? Big yellow dump truck with red and blue lights on it. Yeah, it's annoying. And they're of course in the middle of the night when you're driving past it, it's super frustrating, super distracting, I guess. And then you're slowing down. Well, I guess you slow down anyway, but you slow down because you think it's a freaking cop.
Yeah. Well, that's in down in South Carolina. They were doing road construction. It was one of those where like, they close the exit ramp like at night, like after 10 o'clock or whatever, and they just do overnight work and then they open it back up for rush hour and whatnot. But when they close it down, they actually had cop cars that like came out and sat there at the merging point. And it's like, don't, and there's like a dude sitting in the car. And it's like, don't the cops have something better to do than to be like, hey, there's construction here all night? Like, okay, a yellow flasher would have done just fine.
I don't know. I don't know if those like are off duty or if they just park there when they're on break or doing their paperwork or what. But I've seen that a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, every time I drove past it, there was a cop car sitting there. So it's like, I think they do that for construction.
It also could just be that, if you're in the middle of some big state and it's the middle of nowhere, and what's going to happen on that road? Either nothing or someone's going to hit one of them road guys. So you might as well just sit where the road guys are, I guess.
No. I'm trying to think. I think it's Ohio. It might be Indiana, but they actually have cop cars escorting wide loads. I found that interesting. 'Cause I saw like there's a cop driving by or whatever. And he had his lights on, and like I moved over, and then like I saw the escort truck, and then the wide load truck, and then there was a cop car behind the wide load. I was like, really? You guys just like drive around with semi trucks, getting people out of the way? And I saw it. I think it was Indiana, because that's when I was going back and forth to Subaru, and yeah, I saw it multiple times on like this one stretch of road. They always had big like steel things and like houses and whatever, like all these different wide loads. Very insane in Ohio too. But I think I was in Indiana when I saw that, but apparently they do that also in Ohio. I just found that weird. Never seen that in Michigan. We just let our trucks go. Like you're big boys, you'll figure it out. I don't understand people who drive next to semi trucks that have like a big ass like excavator or something hanging out the side. Like, dude, hang back, give them space, and then when you do go to pass them, like just freaking fly past them. Don't sit next to them for miles on end. It's like that truck's having trouble staying on the road anyways, right? I mean, he's already hanging off over the shoulder and stuff. You're gonna sit next to him. Well, when you come up to a bridge, sometimes he's got to merge over a little bit to the left lane, and you're sitting there in his blind spot. It's freaking dumb.
They should have whole separate roads that trucks have to drive on so that they don't get in our way.
That would be nice.
They could attach helium to them. And they could drive above the roads.
I'm surprised how many freaking trucks, like when you're on a 2-lane highway, how many semi trucks will like pass another semi truck, and it's like, really, dude? Like that guy's going 59, you're going 60. It takes forever to freaking pass, and you're blocking both lanes. It's annoying as shit. Oh, Grand's defending it, saying, "Oh, people do stupid stuff. It's not for the truckers' sake. It's for the stupid people in four wheelers. What is that? What you call cars? Look down on us. We only have four wheels." I don't know. It's dumb. Although I guess that's yeah, you hit a nerve. I drive a lot and it gets annoying. Um, I guess there's one less cop to pull you over and give you a speeding ticket though, so that's okay. Not a big fan of speeding tickets. Local 223. I don't know who that is. You a gun channels person?
Beaver's saying that they have a New York Safe Act proposed in Vermont. That's messed up.
Oh man. Yeah, that Safe Act sucks. I didn't see that
Well,
though. I wonder when that was proposed.
Have something happen in Vermont would be horrific.
Yeah, because they've always been like they don't have anything like that. They've always been.
Never had a gun law.
Wonder, do they call it the Safe Act? Club urges removal of Safe Act. What's that? Oh, that's not a gun thing. All right, let's try Vermont gun control. Vermont gun control. This is people dissing Bernie Sanders, but for Sanders lowballs Vermont gun deaths by an order of magnitude. So they're like, he didn't bitch enough about it. Oh, Bernie Sanders took to the floor to call for gun control. In doing so, he understated the number of gun deaths in Vermont. Between 2011 and 2016, 42 people were killed by guns, Sanders said. Vermont Department of Health found that 420 people were killed with guns between 2011 and 2016. Okay,
what?
but
In that or altogether.
In the state of Vermont. But even still, that's a 5-year span where 420 people were killed.
I still don't believe it.
It's what, 20 people a year or whatever? 24?
Advocate for new gun laws. They are having a vigil, and we're expecting some students to join them ahead of tomorrow's.
Wait, no, that's fucking my math dumb.
Like to get people away. Right now, though, inside a meeting wrapping up between the Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus and Vermont Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs is a yearly meeting for Vermonters to talk about issues today at the top of many people's lists is gun control. Many are wearing stickers that say, quote, "Don't New York my Vermont gun rights." This coming as a number of bills are moving through the legislature. One in the Senate would allow someone to be barred from owning a gun for a year if they're proven to be an immediate danger to themselves or somebody else. A representative from the Federation of Sportsmen says that they support that bill, but they don't support a House bill that would allow police officers to temporarily take guns from someone arrested.
Basically like a big restaurant where everybody's sitting around talking and eating a buffet. And they're all wearing orange.
But anyways, like later in this article, it says that the spokesman for Sanders was saying that 42 describes gun homicides during the 6-year period. He noted that 47 Vermonters were killed by someone else, and 5 of those incidents involved law enforcement. So therefore making 42 the most accurate number. You still don't mention if any of those 42 then were citizens using self-defense. Like you're happy to subtract law enforcement using self-defense.
Well, if someone who's being deceptive about it would include a statistic like that to make it seem legitimate. Like, oh, they've already removed all the legitimate situations that would involve a gun because they said police. But like you say, they're not even going to shed light on the fact that 42 might be 42 people who are defending the life of their children, 42 single moms who are defending themselves from, I don't know, Hollywood rapists or whatever. Maybe it was 42 hunting accidents.
Right. It's just interesting, though, then. So Sanders is going with the 42 number, and then, again, that's 42 people in 6 years. And he then goes on to call for mandatory universal background checks and an assault weapons ban. So even your own numbers, you just said, like, 42 people in 6 years. And therefore we need to do something about it. I mean, I hate making this point because it makes me sound like a jackass. Like, I don't care about people. But I mean, really, 42 people in 6 years. More people stubbed their toe and got infected and died. Like, so do we need mandatory steel-toed boots? I mean, what's going on here?
Well, is it worth taking a list of all the other things that are more than 42 situations and then say, where does this take priority over? And then you can have like stairs and pools and cars and school buses and fire trucks running over people and dogs falling on people from a height.
Right. I mean, I think that's somewhat the way to go. But then even then, you're basically still saying like
Beaver's saying that those are mostly suicides. So that's not even, they haven't even pulled suicides out. That's horrible.
That's the number. No, the 420. So the Department of Health said like 420 people were killed, and then that comes back to saying that 373 of those were suicides.
Oh, okay.
So it is still validating. There were 42 homicides in Vermont in 6 years. Therefore, we need background checks and banning assault weapons. And we know from the other stats that out of those 42, how many were, rifles is going to be like 5. Because we know the percentage, like nationwide, how rifles only kill a couple hundred people compared to, a couple thousand with handguns. So I'm guessing Vermont's similar. So that's the disconnect. He's still calling for all this gun control. And he's talking about like, 5 people in 6 years. That's less than a person a year getting killed by like an AR or something. And it says earlier this year, Sanders fumbled numbers related to mass shootings. He claimed there had already been 18 school shootings in 2018. He later issued a correction noting that number was incorrect and inflated. I already did, bro. But anyways, so it's like they say these crazy things, and that's going to be the headline they run with. So he issues a correction later and just says, "Oh yeah, those numbers were wrong and inflated." Doesn't say the actual number is, 2 or 1 or whatever. It just says, oh yeah, you know that really scary big number I said earlier? I was wrong. Sorry.
It turns out it was a different number anyway.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, I didn't recognize your new name.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's pretty neat.
Pretty good. Yeah, I was listening to you talk about Vermont and how all of a sudden they're throwing a bunch of anti-gun legislation out there. And I've always wondered about Vermont because it seemed to me there are a lot of hippies in Vermont, and the hippies have no desire for the Second Amendment. So
Yeah, but I pictured them more like libertarian type hippies. Like that's what again, Vermont doesn't have like gun control laws. Like they've always been a state where they're like, yeah, we don't have a problem, like everything's fine. So
well,
that's where
Bernie
the
Sanders is
concerning part
from
is.
Vermont, right?
Right.
And we don't like Bernie Sanders very much because of his stance on gun control. And I think that it's not so much that they didn't care. And I don't know that much about Vermont, but from what I can ascertain, there's just not enough population there for it to be a problem. So as soon as somebody starts raking up the muck and saying, oh, these guns are going to cause all kinds of problems, we got to, I honestly don't see how any of this legislation can take a hold just because it's so rural and so sparsely populated. But if you get enough of these hippies, dirty, dirty hippies in places like Burlington, Vermont, to buy into the concept that guns are evil, then this kind of stuff could get a leg hold.
I'm still trying to see what they're actually. So universal background checks, raising the limit to 21, both of which have already passed the Vermont Senate. Wow, so it's already halfway through. Let's see, this is a gun rights activist being quoted. But he says, I think our legislators should be holding our state up as a guiding light to the rest of the nation. We're the safest state in the nation. There's a reason for it. And that's, without the gun laws in place. It's already the safest. Yeah, Vermont's one of the safest states in the nation and also has some of the country's most permissive gun statutes. Is often invoked by people to argue against new gun laws. Well, there you go.
I was talking about this with Dr. No in Potatoes Chat a little bit earlier, and like Vermont is right next to upstate New York, which is pretty much entirely the Allegheny Mountains, which is public land and very rural. And so once you get up into that corner of our country, there's not a lot to do other than farming or grazing or hiking in the wilderness. And so they don't have big city problems there, although who knows? They could have like a lot of this opioid addiction that's been proliferating middle America lately, and so maybe they think that that is somehow spurred on by gun violence or gun crime or however they want to spin it. But I think it would be a real shame. I mean, it's already a shame that New York has turned the way it has because of that great swath of wilderness. And it would be a shame if Vermont were to go that way as well, because it was the original constitutional carry state. And like I said, it's just completely rural and undeveloped, and there's no reason for it. I mean, nobody goes there to do anything. So, and I don't get it. Like New Hampshire is the live free or die state. I mean, fuck, man. We're talking about the Green Mountain Boys. Okay, these fuckers didn't take shit from anybody back in the day. So I think they need to kind of relearn their history and remind themselves of why they live in that part of the country.
Well, and that's kind of what I was getting at when you were saying, well, there's a bunch of hippies or whatever. I'm going with, I think they're more libertarian-ish type people. I mean, obviously, you can't just judge an entire state or whatever, but from what I've seen, and even their laws are like that, is they don't want people infringing on rights. And I really like this quote this other guy was saying. He's like basically talking to politicians, but he's saying, be data driven. Don't get caught up in emotion of the moment and do something for the sake of doing anything. Like, don't just do something because you think you're supposed to. Like, be data driven and do something if it's going to help, and don't if it's not. But I'm still not seeing what specific things are being introduced. Because it looked like it was just raising the age and doing universal background checks, basically banning private sales. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, that was from before. What the hell? That was from January? So the stuff in Vermont has been since January. That wasn't even after the Florida thing, right? Because didn't that happen in February?
What?
Oh, these are different ones. Okay. So the universal background check that's like Senate Bill 6, and that's been around since January. And then House 422 is the surrender of firearms for people accused of domestic violence. And then Senate 221 creates extreme risk protection order, which is the, take the guns away before you get, like, take the guns first and do due process later. So those were around in January. But raising the limit would have to be newer. All right, this is a more up-to-date one. This is from March 6th. All right, so the Senate ended up passing that, take away your gun order. So that one went through the Senate. And they amended Senate 55 to include universal background checks. So they took universal background checks and wrapped that up in with the domestic violence thing. And banning long guns for people 18 to 20. Well, outlawing the sale. I guess it's important to be correct.
Is it the sale or is it the possession? Because it seems
this says sale. I misspoke.
That seems stupid then.
They added a provision outlawing the sale of long guns to those adults aged 18 through 20.
That's ridiculous.
So that's what. So it's like they took the ones that they already had in from January and just amended them to add this other stuff in there. I wonder what S55 is then. This is how it's worded. The Senate also took another bill dealing with the disposition of forfeited firearms and amended it to include so-called universal background checks, as well as a provision outlawing the sale of long guns to those adults aged 18 to 20. So I wonder what the bill dealing with the disposition of forfeited firearms was all about. And they've obviously hijacked it to do other stuff.
Yeah, it's striking how much like wildfire these regulations have taken off across the states since
the worst part is if you don't stand up to it, then they're just going to amplify this. Why would they stop any of this? Once these go through, they're going to be like, we've got people who are willing to do this and support, so let's go do it again. This isn't costing them nothing to put a bunch of kids in front.
Yeah, it's a definitely seems like a concerted effort to get specific legislation passed in every state. This seems like they've got a toehold, and they said 18 to 21, we can do this. We can do it everywhere. We can do it in Vermont. We can do it in Wyoming. I mean, I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead, but they definitely are taking bites out of the cake that they're very confident with, and that are based on the last massacre, the last tragedy. They're taking everything out of that last tragedy, except the governmental failures, and running with it.
Right. Well, that last thing had nothing to do with universal background check. He didn't buy it from a private dealer. It didn't have anything to do with magazine capacity because he had 10-round mag. And yet
that's crazy,
there's other states that are still trying to impose that kind of stuff.
I mean, they've been running that bandwagon for, I mean, since the assault weapons ban. They've been running that whistle, the dog whistle of universal background checks forever. So, I mean, that they're just, they're tacking on the newest thing every time. That's their goal. Every time we got to tack on the newest thing to our slate of goods and push it through, because the newest thing is going to be the one that people remember the most and say, if only then we could have solved this problem. And we'll vote for that and not realize all of those other rights that we've been trying to withhold from being torn away all these years. And we'll just say, you know what? It's for the children. I see the tactics. I mean, it's not just happenstance that it's coming out in places like Vermont. It was passed in Florida, which up to this point had been known as the gunshine state.
Which I never got, because Florida doesn't have great gun laws. I mean, they were one of the first to do like castle doctrine and stand your ground type stuff, but they don't even have open carry, and they have waiting periods
Well,
they're the ones that brought concealed carry back to the whole country.
Exactly. And listen, they were the last frontier, man.
They did it open carry at a time when the other side was trying to suggest that the guns used in crime, or the perception of the guns used in the crime, the cocaine traffic at the time, smuggling, that was the situation, that was a cause for massive infringements, right? So there's a situation with crime based on the drug war and all them people smuggling back then, and then the growth of the crime. So those bunch of, just like the prohibition, there was like a bunch of bad guys fighting with each other using guns. So they were trying to be opportunistic and infringe, right? But then I think that's why it's so significant. CCW came along, like, as opposed to that. Like, oh, you want to infringe? How about CCW? Like, no, how about CCW instead? And then CCW and crime goes down. So I think that's why Florida had such a feather in their cap for that situation. And that, who knows what that is? Is that a bunch of people from New York who retired down there and were like, fuck the government. We don't need the government to tell us. We'll take care of our business. Is it a bunch of people from Chicago? I don't know who fucking lives in Florida predominantly, or was it just a bunch of Floridians who are like, hey, like, this is our state and we don't want a bunch of drug people telling us how to, in our future generations, what they can do. I don't know, but whenever they did, they manned up and they got CCW, and then everybody else was able to go, look, Florida got CCW in their situation, come on, and then everybody got CCW.
Right. So you're saying that's how they got the gunshine state or whatever, because of the CCW.
Everybody got CCW back.
Right.
Just got it back. We'll get it back again.
I was just commenting how they're not like amazing on all their gun laws, though.
Yeah, but they were for a long time. You're just looking at it now as a millennial instead of.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying amazing. Like, they can have full auto and short barreled stuff, and they have full NFA capability. Like, how much more do you want? I don't get it.
Open carry. He wants open carry, obviously.
Let's say open carry and waiting periods.
Campus carry, and not flip flop immediately because of two things that happen in your state.
Listen, so those things you're talking about are just an indication of the sea change that's happening in Florida, and it's not good for the Second Amendment, because if Florida turns blue, we can't win an election. So yeah, they don't like open carry. Why? Because it's a reminder that the Second Amendment is a right afforded to everybody, all law-abiding citizens, legal adults, which now happen to be 21 instead of 18 or whatever. Yeah, and these things will change over time. They will become more restrictive because of influence from people who move from New York City, who are used to strict laws and believe that less guns is less crime. And you're not going to see Florida reemerge as the gunshine state ever again. They had their moment in the sun, no pun intended, and they're on their way down. They're going to turn blue. I'm really afraid they're going to turn blue this next election.
Strike Bob, who can see the future so clearly, should get some lottery tickets, man. Give us some numbers.
Well, yeah,
Hey, Clay,
listen.
You know what protects the Second Amendment?
The First Amendment.
The Second Amendment.
Oh, you had me.
Zing to a zing.
Yeah. Try and get.
No, I feel like that should be a meme, except like a special 2-part meme on the Instagram where you have to slide over to get the answer, because then it's like, bam.
Try and get 1 million New York City retirees to take up arms to protect their Second Amendment rights.
Hey, I can't speak for anybody else. All right, they do what they want to do.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Florida is not just New York people. There are plenty of people in the Midwest that are sick of snow also, and they all go and retire down in Florida. And the Midwest people tend to be a little more gun friendly than New York City people.
Number one, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas. And I don't think everybody from Midwest goes to Florida because so many of them live in Tucson. So I think I said New York and Chicago only as examples, but yeah, you're right. There's whoever they are there. I think they're importing their whatever, just same way California is exporting their shit, right?
Right. And that always kind of confuses me when it's like, oh man, like California is kind of messed up. Like, well, we'll just go over to Texas. Hey, we should pass all the laws in Texas we had in California. It's like, what do you think? Like, why'd you leave in the first place then?
Well,
Like, oh man, like this.
you may not be aware of this, but the people who are leaving from California aren't necessarily gun people. They're people who are tired of the taxes and the high cost of living and the crime. And they don't necessarily associate that with the fact that they can't own a gun or can't carry a gun.
Right. They don't see that as a result of big government. They're like, oh, it was just California's mismanagement.
They're just like, oh, well, we're fucked. We got to move. And so where's the next place? Arizona. It's right next door. And
they get tricked by the same politicians that are like, we got the happy sunshine bill.
They bring all the values that they have that are like, yeah, we want clean air, we want
and then
big government
on the left pander to
we
those
want to be
values.
told what to do. And so they just change the place. And they don't even know about guns. They don't care about guns. They don't. I mean, it's like, why would I carry a gun? That's something cops do.
It's probably like they moved to Dallas and like, I gotta change this. There's too many guns. We gotta do something.
Yeah, they may very well be horrified by the sight of open carry.
No longer own a gun or vote because they need to tell us.
And that's exactly what is the exemplifies Florida. These people move there. Holy shit! You're carrying a gun. I'm going to call the police. And it freaks people out.
There's a drunk driver, then 16-year-olds should get out and petition that only 21-year-olds should drive.
Florida is like Southern California. The climate is the same. You've got Disney World instead of Disneyland. People freak out when they see a gun. You got tourism is the main industry. I mean, you think these people move there? No, they just go and visit for a week or so. And like they bring their kids in their bathing suit and they don't want to see a whole bunch of people toting ARs around. And you can understand that. We can all understand that. But tourism is a huge income for California, for Florida. I don't know so much for Texas, maybe. Probably Philadelphia, not so much. But, tourism.
Making their money off all the Rocky movies still, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we got the Liberty Bell. Everybody comes to see it.
Pennsylvania hasn't got much in the way of beaches and sunny skies. But, Arizona, you got the Grand Canyon.
We got Jersey. It's like our little commie Pennsylvania with a beach.
There's so many of these things that are intertwined, and basically the politicians are in charge of income from taxes, from the population, from the tourists, and they need to continue that income stream. So if guns, like if there's we're gonna really see what happens in Nevada, because look at what happened in Las Vegas. This is a prime tourist destination. There's a huge fucking massacre there, and it's a sea change in the laws. People are all they can't stop talking about bump stocks where they never knew what one was before, and we're starting to have some real conversations about semi-automatics. And people aren't comfortable with that kind of stuff in places like Philadelphia and places like Burlington, Vermont. The major corporate structure of this country doesn't want bump stocks available to everybody. I get it. We're going to see what happens in Nevada if and when they decide to go full on anti-gun and in like not become, because other than Florida, like Nevada is the only other state that I know of that is pro-gun and has all of the pro-gun laws other than open carry. It's like one little notch above Florida.
Michigan's pretty good except for our handgun registry. That's our biggest black eye, but we got everything else. Open carry, private sales, shall issue for concealed carry. We can have NFA items.
What about private carry?
You can carry on private property without a permit, yeah.
What about open sales?
How about open castle carry? Can you carry openly in your castle?
Yes, you can. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? We have castle doctrine and stand your ground type stuff. If you're found not guilty of criminal stuff, you can't be sued like in civil court. So it's got protections for that kind of stuff. We are pretty darn good at gun rights. And then we have a giant black eye with handgun registry. It's like, oh my God, that fucking sucks.
But Michigan really invites investment. I mean, they need industry to come back.
Oh yeah, and Detroit's definitely building back up. It's one of those things of like, we had all our eggs in one basket with cars, and now we have like a bunch of other stuff. So that's the thing. If you need people that are like skilled laborers, like people who just like pipe fitters and stuff that know how to like fix machines, electricians and all, like we have that workforce. Like all those people are here. I mean, some of them have moved away and whatever, but you don't have to be fixing a machine that builds a car. You can fix a machine that builds whatever else, some plastic thing.
Right. And that's the blue collar world that supports the Second Amendment in this country.
I don't know if they do or not though, because a lot of those guys are, the union stuff. They're very heavily Democrat. I mean, I saw a poster sitting out at the factory, like local 252 reminds you to vote for Hillary Clinton. Like what? What the? I'm trying to eat lunch here. Don't be giving me this garbage.
You should have just vomited right on the sign.
So that from that point of view, yeah, I don't get where that all came from. But what's weird is because like, personally, yeah, you're right. Like you talk to most of the people and they're like, yeah, guns are neat, they're fine. And it's like, well, then how come you vote Democrat all the time? And I hate to be like Democrats are anti-gun, Republicans are pro, because we've been seeing that, Republicans not being pro-gun, and there are some Democrats that are. So I don't like to think of it that way. I guess it's an easy shorthand, blue versus red, but I'd rather think of it pro-gun versus anti-gun. And I don't care who you are. If you're anti-gun, then you're not on my side. That's just how it works.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't know why you've got to pick sides on global warming and immigration and taxes, but then when it comes to guns, like you gotta pick that same side. I feel like you can be pro-gun and anti-climate change, or pro solar panel and anti-gun. Wait a second. Yeah,
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah,
I'm pro gun, anti-gun guns.
I am pro all the 9mm guns. I do not discriminate.
But like that guy Ted, who comes on here in the mornings, not your channel, but on the early watch and the live chats, whatever.
You know that guy? What I'm impressed about that guy is all the talks that he gives.
He's like an electrical energy engineer, and he's pro solar panels, and he's also very pro gun.
That guy knows so many people.
He he lives off the earth or off the sun. And yet he's still like a big fan of shotguns, and I think he just bought a AR-15. And it's okay to want to have a solar panel in your backyard and still have a rifle range right next to it. It's okay, to believe that maybe new technology is not only saving the world but powering your refrigerator. I mean, it's okay to be altruistic. I think a lot of it comes in where people think, oh, lead is a toxic heavy metal and you're poisoning the environment and you're destroying ecosystems with your 4x4s and that kind of thing. And it's like, look, I'll take you out there, we'll drive up these roads, you'll realize it's just a big wasteland anyways. So it's okay if we shoot a couple rounds off into the hillside, and the little
where do they think the lead came from? Outer space?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely needs to be more bonding, I think.
Well, poison comes out of plants. It doesn't mean you want to gather all the poison and wipe it on people.
Yeah, but if you're out in the wasteland, there's no people to wipe it on.
What if in 1,000 years they want to come by and lick the ground right there?
Oh, well. Shouldn't be licking the ground. It's like rule number 1 when you're born.
You know where a good place to dig up and then eat whatever nuggets we find? Right here.
Well, with all the toxic waste buried out there in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. There'll be future people, so they'll have like food machines. They just press a button and it sucks molecules out of the air and creates a cheeseburger.
That'd be pretty neat.
It's 100% organic, fat-free, all the taste. That's what technology should be.
I mean, I guess
cars.
Like the whole thing with the lead thing, I'm almost in the same boat as Yankee on the fact that I don't think it should get banned, but I do encourage ammunition manufacturers that are trying other stuff. Because if we can get away from lead and still be around the same costs and all that kind of stuff and same performance, then I don't see why not. We might as well. But I also think that the lead poisoning thing is the danger is overstated. I don't think it's as big of a problem as people make it out to be. In California, they banned lead for hunting and stuff, and it's what they're worried about the condors or something like that. It's there's never been a study that shows that they have lead in their system because someone shot a deer with a lead bullet. You know what I mean? I guess the waterfowl thing, where you have to use steel shot instead of lead. There's some stuff behind that. There are birds and fish and stuff that eat gravel to help with digestion, and they were eating the little lead pellets, and they found lead in their system. Okay, if that's the case, if you're shooting out over water and there's these things that scoop into the water and eat the stuff on the bottom, then use steel instead of lead. That it seemed to make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, lead is a huge problem. Let's make no mistake. It's a huge occupational safety problem, and males will die at an earlier age because of exposure to lead in occupational environments. This is due to lead paint mostly. But
there's still lead paint out there. I figured all that stuff would have been painted over by now.
Yeah, it's still there. Even when you paint it over, it's still there, and eventually it'll get demolished. But you can actually just Google a recent news article that shows the elevated rates of occupational death at an early age. I think it just came out last week. So, like males in their 40s and 50s have a much greater death rate because of occupational exposure to lead. And that was one of the reasons that
That's
was
China.
attributed. No, it was attributed to the death of the condors in California is because of all of the public buildings that had a loose and peeling lead paint and were infecting the condors in their natural range. But
well, then why'd they blame it on lead bullets?
Well, because it was the scapegoat. And I can also understand, like, if you're pumping 22 into groundhogs and then the birds are eating the groundhogs, and that's a problem. So I can understand that concept. And I think for varmint hunting, where you're just going to leave the carrion to the raptors, then yeah, don't put lead out there for the birds to eat.
But do you think that can be like a community change, like a society change?
Yeah, it could be.
Rather than like mandating it or whatever.
It absolutely could be. But as you know, like a city slicker from California, like I'm not going to be the ones to tell these people. That's kind of the whole thing I was talking about. Like, you know, there's this societal between left and right. We want to shoot our guns, and we want gun control, but they don't understand. You know, both sides don't understand that there's common ground and cooperation. So it's a little risky to go out into somebody's backyard and tell them they need to be using antimony bullets instead of lead bullets to shoot vermin.
Right. Well, and that again, that's where I think it's just as a whatever you want to call it, community or as a even as an industry, like just if ammo manufacturers made other stuff available and it just like, if it just kind of caught on as a societal thing of like, oh, this is less dangerous for you as a shooter or whatever, you say, okay, cool, I'll buy this stuff instead. And then with the market going up for it, then the price should come down. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've seen. It's like it's easy to work with and it's cheap. Well, that's just under the current like market value of stuff. There's no reason why polymer bullets can't be cheaper than lead bullets. Some type of compressed copper in a polymer matrix thing or whatever they doing. Like that could work just fine, and that could be just as cheap. So, but again, obviously I'm against like laws saying you have to do that. But so for my part of it, I'll encourage the companies doing it and saying, all right, like good for you, like way to invent new stuff because we don't have to be stuck in the past. Like we can invent new stuff if it works better, cool. If it doesn't work better, then well, I'm not, beholden to having to buy it. If it ends up not having the same performance, then like screw you. I'm gonna go with the one that has the better performance.
Yeah, I wonder if um, propensity of shooters aren't repulsed by the concept of lead-free or environmentally safe concepts in bullet and ammo technology.
I
Especially, it's going to cost more money.
I think that's really the factor. I don't think people are like, oh, I can't stand the idea of a solid copper bullet. That's disgusting. I think they go, why would I spend $10 a box when I can get it for $5 a box?
Might you have to change the material of the barrel if they do find something? Like a combination of projectile and barrel material? Because maybe that's what.
I guess
why
I
they
didn't think
haven't
of that.
found something.
There could be more wear and tear on the barrel or something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, we have jacketed stuff now, so it's not like copper's super strong. I'm not saying use titanium bullets. Yeah, that would scrape your barrel out. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't have the solution. I'm not a projectile manufacturer, but the stuff I've seen, like I said, the powdered compressed copper or the polymer stuff, or um, I don't know what else they use. I mean, shotguns use steel shot. I guess there's no grooves or anything to wear down, but does the barrel itself wear down more because it's got steel? Because I would think the barrel would be hardened steel and the shot is like a soft steel. I don't know. I don't really do a lot of shotgun stuff. But is that a problem people have using steel shot?
I don't know.
I think there are certain barrels that are designed to be used with steel shot.
Okay, so they're probably just harder, or maybe they're like chrome lined or something.
That makes sense, yeah. But if you just take a regular shotgun barrel and think of how many shotgun barrels were made before the concept of steel shot was ever invented. And you
Yeah.
just take one of the shotgun barrels and you shoot 100 rounds of steel shot through it, you're wearing it out. It's not worn out. I'm not saying it's worn out after 100 rounds. I'm saying you've actually worn some of the material off and you are in the process of wearing it out. 1,000 rounds of steel shot through an 10 or 20-year-old shotgun barrel, that you're going to start to compromise the structural integrity of that steel. It's erosion.
Yeah.
Right?
That could be. I just was curious if anyone had like firsthand. I mean, that's what my brain tells me would happen is the steel's harder than lead, so it's going to wear it away more. And maybe shooting one shot of steel shot is like shooting, 5 lead shots or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's just the equivalent where it happens faster. But I just didn't have any like firsthand knowledge of that.
And you can get a replacement shotgun barrel. I mean, presumably the company is still in business and there's some aftermarket parts.
Right. And like I said, I would think that for the places where, like for big time hunters who have to use steel shot, like, a bunch of duck hunters or whatever, the manufacturers are aware of that. And that's what I'm saying. They probably do something with the barrel where you don't have to worry about wearing it out as fast.
Yeah, I think for shotguns, it is a simple solution. And you probably get more effective patterns out of a steel shot, although I'm not entirely certain about that. I know you can form it in different shapes other than just a ball. And so you should be able to get some denser patterns. But for a bullet out of a rifle barrel, that's a different story. You need a soft metal
right
in that sweet spot in between, too soft and too hard. So it holds shape and yet takes the rifling, the twist off the rifling, right?
Right, and that's I mean, I'm not condoning a solid steel bullet. I don't think that would be a very good projectile. But when Moon mentioned, oh, you're gonna have to start changing barrels and stuff, that's what kind of brought it up. It's like, I don't think you'll have to if the replacement for lead has similar properties to lead.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, why haven't they found that yet? Or do they have to make it in a lab?
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying. There are plenty of companies that have been, putting stuff out. I just don't think it's caught on because the market for it isn't that high because most people are still just saying, "Well, just give me a chunk of lead. That's cheap." Like there's not as much demand for the polymer bullets or the all copper or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there's been no regulations to take hold. I mean, it was interesting to see how when Obama left office, his parting shot was, no more lead ammo on public lands. Fuck you, right wing. Fuck you, gun nuts. And then as soon as Trump got into office, he was like, we're rolling that back. And it was literally like a month in between the issue of the ruling, issue of the executive order and the rollback of that executive order. That was like one of the first that Trump rolled back. It's like a slap in the face that he just had to wipe his slate clean with.
Right.
And,
Well, that's because there's that rule, like anything passed in the last 3 months or something can like get repealed within the first 3 months. Like there's a whole thing. So it's discouraging presidents from doing that parting shot.
yeah, it was
being
bullshit.
like, oh, and by the way, like cars are illegal. Bye. Everyone be like, wait, what?
Fuck Obama for pulling that bullshit. He should have done it in his first week in office in his first term. If he was a fucking man and he had some conviction and actually wanted to change the world.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. But all presidents do that though. Like all presidents give a parting shot if they're on their way out.
I don't know what his point was. Like to this day, I'm still confused by what Obama's point was. Was he just riding the fence the whole time for 8 years, trying to get both pro-gun and anti-gun money coming in from his scare tactics? That's all I can figure. But that executive order that he passed really affected me because I had literally just been out into the wilds, into the BLM land, shooting an AR-15 at rabbits, for the first time, and like experiencing this wonderful sense of freedom. And all of a sudden, whoa, what I did last weekend is illegal, and I just bought 250 rounds. What the fuck? I was pissed. And then when when Trump rolled it back, sorry, I was like, yes, yes, I finally have a voice. Something finally makes sense. And I've been out in various public lands since then shooting, a magazine here or there. And I'm thinking, this isn't a big deal because there's plenty other metals and other elements out here that, if you're tapping a well anywhere around here, you're going to run into much worse stuff than my few bullets that I toss out here. And you should probably have a filter that prevents you from absorbing these other elements as well.
Yeah, I mean that's there's a saying that the solution to pollution is dilution. So if you think like even with the groundwater thing, those handful of bullets getting into into the groundwater or whatever, however many like tiny percent part per million, you know what I mean? Like it's fine because there's tons of groundwater and the little tiny bit of lead that's going to leach off that bullet. I mean, it's going to basically stay a chunk of lead for a long time. It's like you're just going to leach off like a tiny little bit of it. And then that's mixing in with like the whole underground aquifer. Like even if you did have a well right there, you'd probably be fine. You live there your entire life. Okay, maybe you start getting stuff near the end. I mean, that is one of the problem with the heavy metals, and not just let any of the heavy metals that like stay in your body. That's the worst part. You get a little bit of it when you're 7, you still have that same amount like when you're older. 'Cause it sticks with you. So as far as having like, you know, like very active like outdoor gun ranges and stuff, like, they normally don't build them like next to a neighborhood that has wells and things, and I could see why. Like if you had like, a regular outdoor range, people are shooting into that berm all the time, and you tap off the groundwater like right underneath that berm, it's probably going to have a higher concentration of lead.
Yeah, well, unless
But
it's
not as high as Flint.
underlined.
So I mean,
But yeah, unless it's underlain by a clay layer, which will contain it. Yeah, if it's a something that the water can percolate through, then the water will carry that metal like through erosion. And I get it, but yeah, I think there's probably more chance of being contaminated by lead just by shooting at a range where the prevailing wind is in your face. What do you think about that?
well, they're definitely, yeah, when you shoot that, you get that dust or whatever all over. Which is why it's important when you clean up after going to the range, you wipe your face and stuff down too.
Like I've shot at a couple different ranges, and one was straight into the prevailing wind. And I always thought, hey, this is kind of nasty. It was a beautiful range, don't get me wrong. I mean, out in the forest, trees, but like all the dust would just sweep back over all the people. I'm thinking, like I'm not even worried about the lead so much because I figure that'll fall out. I'm worried, just about the combustion byproducts, unfiltered combustion byproduct. And then I go to a range that's facing downwind, and man, what a dream to just watch that plume of smoke go off into the distance, and to think like, this is so much more healthy. So yeah, I wonder if they take that into account when they're planning ranges at all, the direction of the prevailing wind.
I don't know if they do or not. I had never thought of it, but
Well, your range up north, how do you have it set up?
it's facing north, and the wind normally is coming out of the west, so
You get a cross breeze.
yeah. But I faced it north because that's the location it would work. I mean, the other directions wouldn't be as good. So I didn't consider that at all. By coincidence, it worked out good. But if I went the other way, like if I would have went either east or west, the problem is our property it's like kind of like skinny and long, and that's what like makes up the 40 acres that's in the family. So if I went like side to side, anything going out, like if I missed the berm or something, or like any of that like downrange stuff is other people's property. And the one way there's like just a bunch of like 1 or 2 acre lots with a bunch of like houses and stuff on it. And then the other way, the guy's always back there like cutting logs down and driving around back there or whatever. So it's like, now granted, the chances of a bullet like missing the berm are pretty low, but I didn't even want to mess with that. Like even with a low chance, if it does miss the berm, I don't want to go into someone else's property. And where I have it set up, even if I miss the berm, it's going right down into the swamp, which there's a big hill in the swamp, like right behind it. So I almost have like a double berm system. If it somehow manages to get through all the trees, like it's not going far. That's the other thing. There's a bunch of trees right behind it. So again, even if I miss, it's probably just going to hit a tree and get stuck in a branch or whatever.
I know Moon never shoots outdoors, so okay. He doesn't have to worry about prevailing wind direction.
Well, at an indoor range, they're very like the air filtration system is, set up,
You say
and
I
that's
never shoot outdoors?
apparently you don't.
I guess not. It's like a big indoor bubble when I go up to Poconos, my dad's backyard.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
I mean, Clay said it. It must be true.
I thought the Poconos were full of those swingers resorts.
No, they don't have ranges. They have ranges at the Poconos. I went to one NRA range, and it was like the NRA instructors were up your butt. No double taps. They had to have their one finger in your butt at all times. They got some long range ranges up there, outdoor.
100 yards?
More than that.
200 yards?
I think it's like 700 is the longest.
Yeah, I need a rangefinder. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into that. It's kind of a hunting thing, but there's this whole thing about rangefinders, whether it's a reflective or non-reflective target, and the distance, and it can get quite expensive. But yeah, I mean, the range that I've shot at, it's only a 300-yard range. I have access to a 600-yard range, but that's it's steel targets only. I'd like to do more like post your own targets out to 600, and I feel like I kind of need to set that up on my own. So looking at getting a rangefinder that can reach out. Do you use a rangefinder when you hunt, Smeggy?
No, but I hunt on my property, so I've paced out from all the different landmarks or whatever, so I pretty much know how far away stuff is. Like I'm not good at estimating. Like if it was just an open field, be like, oh, that's like 20 yards, or that's 50 yards, or that's 100. Like I'm not good at that, but I know my specific area. Okay, I'm always sitting in the same spot, so if they pop out by that tree, it's 50 yards away. If they pop out by that tree, it's 100 yards away, like that kind of thing. I don't take really super long shots.
Is that where you shot that deer?
Well, the one I actually that was a new spot for me. I was sitting where my dad normally sits. So that was actually out front instead of back down in the swamp. Hmm. Uh,
I saw an antelope last weekend.
well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a solitary male, I think. Yeah, he had horns or rack or whatever you call them. But I had only ever seen a small herd of antelope before that one time. But yeah, it was like really, I saw a lot of wildlife this last time I went off into the hinterlands. I saw like 3 herds of wild horses all grouped together. It's like 30 fucking Mustangs, or just, I don't know whether they were male, female. There's one white horse, and the rest were brown. But I mean, it was really transforming for me because I had seen this group of three, and then I pulled off the main road, and there was a side road which my truck couldn't make it down, so I decided to hike actually up the road, and I got like a quarter mile up the road, and like all of a sudden I see all this crazy movement up ahead of me. What the? And it's like three herds of wild horses coming out of this canyon. I guess they had spent the night in. Like, wow, they totally sensed me or heard me, and they're booking it. And yeah, I walked right up into the canyon, looked down. They were a couple 100 yards away, just kind of like keeping their distance. But I was able to look down on them and just like, man, that's a lot of fucking horses. I'd never seen more than one herd at a time. And they were really trampling their way up through this valley. I realized at that point a lot of the tracks that I'd seen where I'd camped out the night before were wild horse tracks, just like trampling over the ground. And then I saw a big fat jackrabbit jump out of the way, and then on my way out I saw that antelope, solitary. I kind of took a wrong turn. It was actually the right turn, but I turned around, and as I was turning around, I saw this fucking antelope. I'm like, holy fuck, because you see something like that, and you're like, oh, I've never, am I in Africa all of a sudden? Because it's got stripes and the big, weird horns. I was like, dude, I want to shoot that thing.
Do they have a season for that?
Yeah, it's all completely regulated, and I definitely want to get a license, and I should be able to get a license pretty easily, but then I guess you got to get a tag, and yeah, it's a whole huge process and fees, and you're not just going to walk out into the sagebrush and see an antelope. There's not a lot of these things out there. You got to stalk them, and they keep their distance. You got to take long shots, easily over 100 yards. You're not going to get an antelope in under 100 yards. I don't care what part of the country. It's not happening because it's like more of a plains, open country environment. I've seen them in the valleys. I haven't seen them on the mountains. I haven't actually seen anything on the mountains. And it may either be because I haven't spent a lot of time in the mountains, or it's like if an animal goes up to the mountains, they're not going to be like hanging out, waiting to shake your hand. But yeah, I think they definitely spend more time in the valleys. Easier.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But I hear they play with deer. The deer and the antelope play out in Oklahoma.
I could be. I actually have only seen one. I think it was a mule deer. Yeah, it's a wild trip, man. Going out into the desert, you never know what you're going to find. I've never seen a rattlesnake in Nevada. I've seen a few in California, but never in Nevada. You would think like with all that desert, there'd be a million rattlesnakes. I haven't seen a single one. I went to this one area. One of the first times I went out there, it was infested with ticks, and that was shitty. but none of the other areas I've been to have had ticks. So yeah, I definitely like to do some more big game hunting, and the West has got a lot of that, whether it's deer or elk or antelope. I'm good enough with a rifle and a scope. I know I can take that shot. I just need some practice. Get out there with the right people. I like to do some trapping also, just because it's kind of like fishing, but you get some fur. You can sell the fur, like you can make a little money on the side, and it's all legitimate. Is there a healthy trapping industry in Michigan?
Um, I don't know. Like I don't know of anyone who traps. There's certainly like when you get the Hunter Digest, it has a bunch of rules about trapping, so like it's legal. I maybe in the Upper Peninsula there's a little bit more of it, but I don't know. So I guess it's possible.
I feel like trapping is one of the last vestiges of true outdoorsmanship, a true outdoors subsistence, because it's not really politically correct, and but yet you do need a firearm. So I mean, like it's illegal in California to trap. That just gives you an idea of what the liberals think of it, and I guess they think it's inhumane.
Yeah, well, honestly, I can almost kind of see that because, like, I mean, I guess if you snare them or whatever, they end up like choking or whatever, so that's fine. But like when they get caught on the leg and then they hang out for a while, and I don't know, I don't like the idea of something like suffering and all that kind of stuff.
Where do we go?
Hmm?
Where do we go now?
We're talking about trapping.
Where?
Where? I don't know.
Do you trap in Tucson?
Of course not. I'm humane. I'm not a weirdo who likes to just discriminately put out dangerous items for kids to reach into, who try to lick. You guys, you're talking about trapping. Have you addressed the situation where little kids go out and try to lick the bait, and the bear tries to claws on their neck?
I don't think we've addressed that topic.
It's easy to ignore the obvious side effects of your indiscriminate death.
I mean, I was kind of just saying I don't like the idea of it because the animal just like chills out there for a day or whatever, and that kind of sucks.
Well, you've made a dumb machine that can only kill indiscriminately whenever anything triggers it, or even whenever, just because it's machine only. It's not perfect.
No, but see, it's not the machine that kills. The machine just tortures.
Oh, it kills.
It's the human that comes along later, and with his evil, ill will, kills.
Like I said, it depends on what type of trap. Some of them kill, some of them just hold them.
So what if you just trap for a sport and like when you get there, you're like, "Hey, little buddy, I'm gonna let you go," and then you let him go and you don't shoot him in the head.
I don't think that's a thing.
So you're against sport trapping.
Yeah, especially because most of the time the traps like break the legs and stuff, so you can't really just like, okay, go on and be free now. Just kidding. Now, if it's like those live traps, like like a lot of times people will like whatever, like catch a squirrel in their attic or something, like the whole big cage thing, and they like let it go in the woods. I guess that's kind of like sports trapping.
What if you catch feral cats in your sports trap and then eat them?
What? Now you're just being weird.
What are you, racist?
No, not at all.
There are plenty of cultures that eat cats. Not, there's nothing
All
wrong with
right,
that.
whatever. We're getting dangerous into.
What? You don't think you can hunt a bobcat and then eat that? Like
I don't
you're
know,
you're
whatever.
about to tell me you're not going to eat a horse either. It's impossible to eat a horse.
You're gonna eat a thundercat? They're freaking 90% human. You're disgusting.
I mean, people eat turtles as well. Like you're going to tell me that's not appetizing?
Yeah, because I like turtles.
Chocolate
I don't want
covered
people
Mr.
to eat them.
Knives?
Knives is like 90% human.
And the other 10% is chocolate.
Because whatever, anytime they've done a test on him, he's either been holding or in his pockets had like 10% of his mass in chocolate.
Yeah. Well, they just did like a scanner type, like a walkthrough scanner.
Yeah, like in one of them science fiction movies, and they're like, our calculations tell us this guy is 20% chocolate.
Yep.
Or like when they go in for like, I don't know, doctor, whatever they do, magic, and then like they've got the like radioactive shit going through the veins, except when they run a scan on him, they just see the chocolate running through the veins. The chocolate evenly coats all of his capillaries so that he can't get any plaque buildup. He'll live forever.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The chocolate resins constantly flush his liver so he can't get any kind of poisons. Brilliant, really. That's how the ancient Aztecs were able to, the Incas and the Aztecs were able to live for hundreds of years. High doses of raw chocolate.
Well, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it had nothing to do with the slaves they employed to service them.
Because there was none.
Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down and go out tonight.
Oh, you're shutting down the cave now.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Abandoning the 7 people minus 3
Yeah.
4 people that are watching, not even chatting out there.
Yeah, that is true.
Minutes.
Because
Are you gonna put on your sunglasses and your tack vest when you go out?
I wasn't planning on it. No.
I think it's a much better look, frankly.
Smeggy's more like the the Vietnamese helicopter pilot who's kind of wild, who you always have to get at the last minute to get your crew together to go rescue, I don't know, hostages or something.
You know, the fact that you just mentioned that, I just realized I'm back to the picture.
What?
Like, I'm just looking at this hangout. I'm back to, like, the picture version of me and not the cartoon version.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even know, like, I didn't even know that happened. I don't remember changing it.
It's obscene. Now he's naked. I'm making it known to everybody. Look how naked I am in my picture. There's women watching this show. Sometimes.
There probably are. That's why they're around. But that's weird. I don't remember changing the picture back.
There's a chance that little baby snowman will get naked.
I'm not a baby.
Little tiny snowman will get naked.
But anyways, all right. I think it's definitely time to shut down now. So everyone watching, take it easy. You guys in here, take it easy.
Yeah, go put some clothes on.
Apparently, I didn't even realize it. It's like, it's like Daffy Duck, right? Like whenever Daffy Duck like lost his shirt, he would cover up like his lower part. But when he's wearing a shirt, like he doesn't wear pants. So how come the first thing he goes to cover up is like the part that's normally exposed? It's weird. Anyways, I think that's a good note to end on.